When you meet us, you're having the worst day of your life.
Current vitals on the patient, blood pressure 128 over 44.
That is affirmative, sir. Go ahead when ready.
It's very rewarding to take somebody when this is their absolute worst day because they just were thrown out of a vehicle or something, and for you to go in there and be the best thing in their worst day and be able to maybe turn their life around because you were there to help.
You know, one thing, I mean, we're a team. I mean, I'm the pilot, and we have a nurse and a paramedic, and we all work together as a team. And
when we work together in the aircraft, you can't tell who's a nurse and who's a paramedic. We do the same things. We both do the documentation. We both give drugs. We both manage patients' airways. So you really can't tell the difference between the two of us. And then actually the fourth person that's not on the crew but is definitely a vital part of our program is our mechanic, because they have to have us set to go all the time.
having a helicopter is like basically having a magic carpet. I mean, because you can just float or hover around and you can go from here to there, wherever you want to go. I mean, if you see someplace on the ground you want to land, most places, you know, I mean, you can actually land there.
I've had to land on the river before, and that was kind of tough because the river wasn't solid enough to support the weight of the helicopter. So I had to, after I set the helicopter down and started sinking into the sand, I had to pick it back up and then relocate and find a new spot that would, you know, be able to support the weight of the helicopter. And actually ended up having to cut some trees down so I could get in there.
One thing, you know, when I was in school, especially, you know, during grade school and stuff like that, you know, I had my head in the clouds. I think a lot of times just thinking about other things, you know, and then finally when I did realize that, hey, you know, I better, you know, get better at math, stuff like that, because I wanted to fly. You know, the math is important. You know, that's definitely true. My spelling's still really bad, and it's a good thing you don't have to spell very good to be a pilot.
To be a flight nurse, you obviously need to be a nurse first, and so science and math are probably the things that you need to pay closer attention to, but you also need to be somebody that has a lot of compassion, because that's just part of nursing, is caring about people and how they feel and how they're doing and that kind of thing.
You know, I didn't pay a lot of attention in class then, but now I can see how all that stuff, you know, I learned, you know, in physics, actually takes place from flying that helicopter, and what keeps that helicopter flying is a lot of physics.
The reason I picked this career is I really didn't know what I was going to go into. I kind of went into the first EMT class and thought, if I like it, fine. If I don't, at least I'm learning some medical training that I can use towards, you know, with family members and that type of thing. Got involved in the EMS and really loved it.
The kind of qualities that a flight nurse or a flight paramedic, and I would say a pilot too, what they need to have is they need to be willing to work with a team.
Teamwork is very important. One thing that you have to be is you have to be trustworthy.
They need to be very flexible, because nothing out there is textbook. Every time we go, it's a little different. You know, just when you think that, well, all overdose cases are like that, then there's one that's not. So you need to be able to adjust to whatever the environment or the situation presents to you.
Decision making is a critical part of this job. Is your patients never wait for you to make a decision. Your patients change faster than a lot of times you can make that decision, so you have to be on top of that.
You really need to have a lot of variety as far as experience go, pediatrics, adults. The critical care settings are really important, either ICU, ER, both are even better.
It's just part of a unique environment, and I think when you talk to most of the people that's involved in this career, everyone will tell you the same thing as when we fly. We like it, we have to think, we like to be put under that pressure, and we like to turn around and in our own minds that we are helping someone.
This engine here weighs about 200 pounds and develops 745 horsepower. It burns about 45 gallons of fuel an hour. These things now are going for about $1.5 million for a new one. When we move the control stick, we're moving our whole wing here, and when we do that, then it doesn't take very much movement at all. And actually, when you're flying a helicopter, if you see the stick moving, you probably moved it too much. One of the biggest things that we do, is we provide, really highly experienced medical people to rural areas, and then also we transport, the patient, from that rural area, to a care center wherever they might need to go.
This program averages about 30 calls a month, which is a flight a day, but there are days when you can't fly because of the weather. So that means there's other days where you might get 2 or 3 flights. And from here, because we're in a little bit more rural setting, our flights are longer. So start to finish, we average about 3 hours to go get a patient, take them to the hospital where they need to go, and then get back home.
Your time off is, for a job like this, I think the time off is great. I mean, I work 7 days, 12 hours a day, and then I get 7 days off.
My favorite thing about this job is it's never the same 2 days in a row. So there's a lot of variety. I don't like routine. I like to have things change all the time. So that happens. The other thing is the fact that whatever I do, I see pretty quickly results from that. So if we're taking care of a patient and I give him pain medication, I can see that the pain goes away. If he's bleeding and we do something to stop that bleeding, you can see him improve.
We're like one big family. We work with a lot of different people. We're confined in a small helicopter. We turn around and work 24-hour shifts.
Yeah, we're real close. I mean, when you live with somebody for 24 hours, you gotta like how they keep house, you gotta like how they cook or what they want to eat. It's just like family, really.
We spend a lot of time away from our normal families, so you just kind of develop a second family aspect.
I like the people, you work with. I like, most of them, I mean, just because of the type of job it is, the personalities are always kind of fun to be around.
It's not all glamorous. I've never been asked to play Frisbee in the park after saving someone's life, like on TV. We do have people come up and say, "You've flown me and I'm doing fine."
It's very rewarding.
And I love flying helicopters.